everyone, this is Lori from the Crafting Auntie coming back to you with another fun video. This is Crafty Fun Session number 9. So I wanted to still stay with the postal theme, but I really didn't want to do an envelope or something that was just kind of traditional. So I came up with missing poster. So I had found some digitals and I cut out the digital. They look like this and they already have a photo on them, but I replaced the photo with a Tim Holtz photo booth. So this is William Morris, who's missing back in, oh gosh, 1910. So I made this vintage looking missing poster is kind of what I'm calling it. And it talks about the person that's missing on the digital itself. It said missing up here at the top of the digital, but I made a frame on this and covered that part up because I wanted to add this out of some die cuts, which are the Tim Holtz numbers and letters. Not sure which one it is. It is this one. It is the Tim Holtz, and it's alphanumeric theory. So this is what I used. And I used the larger ones. And I cut out of the Tim Holtz Craft sandable paper in a red missing. So this is William Morris, and I want to do Luella Robinson now. But I want to replace Luella Robinson's picture with this picture from Tim Holtz photo booths. I have to laugh at the rewards, but you know, thinking of the times back when it was, and money was scarce, so this is $15 to find out what happened to William Morris, and this one's $25. Now she's from back in, let's see, she went missing 1905. At least that's what it says on the digital. I printed this on some paper I got from Amazon. Let me just show you the package. So it is parchment paper and it's already vintagey on both sides. And so that's what I used. It's a stationery paper. Both sides have the same vintagey look. So I printed out these and I printed 4 to a page. So I still have 2 over here that I haven't used. So 4 to a page made it the perfect size for this. So this is 6 inches by 4 3/8. And then I'm going to use this die, like I did here, to cut out the window. And I backed it with another piece of just some craft color cardstock. And then added the eyelets, stitched on the leather strips, and so yeah, did a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to create another one for Luella Robinson with you. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and do the die cut on this. And I'm just kind of lining it up. I want a little bit more at the top than at the bottom. So I'm going to die cut this and then I'm going to come right back. Okay, so this is also Tim Holtz, the craft sandable paper. And that's what I'm using for the front of this. So I just cut this piece out and I'll save it for something else. And then I want this to come in behind it and get that straight like that. And then I want this piece of craft paper to also be on here. So let me just adjust these so it looks straight. And then what I did is I stitched it all together. But I need to make sure that I can put her photo on here. Let's see, how much room do I have? I need to slide this over just a little bit more. Let's see if I do that. Maybe I need to put her photo on first on this one so that it's tucked in behind. Let me see. Actually, that would work, but I'm cutting off part of this. So let's see. Let's move her back over, straighten it out. About like that. And I have some clips that I'm going to clip together, and then I'll determine how I want to do this photo from Tim Holtz photo booth. So let me just clip these on real quick and make sure that it's straight. That looks pretty good. Now let's see, how can we put her on? I don't want to cut that off. I think I'll just trim her down just a little bit more on this side. So let me just do that real quick before I stitch that. And I just want to take a little bit off. Let's see. Put her down about like that. Let's see if that works now. I think that will work. Let's see. How do we look? I just don't want to cover up the dollar sign, but I want to use this photo. Yeah, that'll work. And I think this is lined up really good. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and stitch this, but before I do, I want to do some sanding on this. So let me just put these clips hopefully holding this in place. Yeah. Okay. So let me get my sanding disc out. So I'm just going to be using this. And I want to just sand all around and mostly on the inside of this as well, because I won't be able to do that afterwards. And I don't want to mess up anything after I've gotten it stitched. So just going to do the sanding. I love this paper because you can sand it, make it look really old and vintagey looking. It kind of even changes a little bit of color as you take some of that off the top. So I like that look. So I'm just going to give this a good sand. And then I'm just going to go around the edges a little bit. And in here. Being careful because this could tear very easily, so I'm trying to be careful not to mess it up. I want that vintagey kind of look. Okay, let me just clean this up. And now I'm going to go ahead and use ground espresso distress oxide, and let's give it a good grunge look, especially on those corners. Want those to look kind of grungy like I did on the other one. So a little bit in here. Give it that vintage distress look. Like that. Whoops. Careful not to bend it. Of course, it would just add to the grunge of it if it got a little bit bent. But try not to. There, now it's getting that grungy look. I like that. You could also put some droplets of water if you're going for a different kind of a look. I just want it to look grungy. Just about like that. Okay. So let me get this back in place. I will put the clip on the bottom first before I start removing the other ones to hold it in place. That. Oh, now she's just a little bit high there. So let me adjust it again. Shift it a little bit. Let's move her down. Realign. And about like that. Having this back card piece makes it just a little bit harder to get it adjusted, but I want to stitch it all together. I don't want to glue it. So that's what I did on the other one. I just stitched it. I didn't really add any glue to it. And I stitched here and out here, and that's what I want to do on this one. If there's a little bit of craft paper showing, distress ink, or I can always trim it and re-distress it. So either way. Okay, so I'm going to stitch that. And while I'm stitching, I'm also going to go ahead and cut another piece of leather. And I think it's about 1/2 inch that I cut. And I just used my paper trimmer, lined it up on 1/2 inch. It's kind of hard for you to see because I got my desk kind of full, but about 1/2 inch. Then I cut that, so that gave me my strip that I need. And I'm just gonna stitch around 2 pieces of it. So let's just kind of use this one as a gauge to measure. So about that much. I'll get all the stitching done. That one and one more piece. That's perfect. All right, so I'm going to stitch this, and I'm going to stitch this, and then when I come back, we're going to get it all put together. Okay, so I have it stitched, and around here and around here. And I want to add a little bit more grunginess to it, so I'm going to use some more of the ground espresso and just add a little bit more here and there around it. And also on the printable, I want to add a little bit more grunge, darken that up even a little bit more. The paper does a pretty good job of it that I got, but I do want it just a little bit more grungy. So about like that. So let's see, next thing, oh, and I stitched the 2 straps that will go on, so that's done. And next I want to do some stamping, but let's see, let's first work on this. So I want to use my sanding disc again, and I'll go around the edge of this. I'm going to vintage it up also a little bit here and there. Also a little bit on the photo. And then I'm going to scrunch it up a little bit. Add some folds. Make it look even older. Okay. And then I'm going to go over it with ground espresso. Add some of that grunge on here. Darken it up here and there. And around the edge. So now we've got that. So she's grunged up a bit. Add a little bit more. Yeah. And I'm going to put her on last. So I want to do some stamping. So I'm staying with the postal theme. So I've got this stamp back out. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the ID badges. I'm going to use the blue and the red. So this is cobalt blue archival ink, and this is vermilion archival ink. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. So we'll start with the blue. So every other one's going to be blue. And I'm just going to cover up so that I don't get anything on what's going to be red. And get the blue all on there. I like the way this comes out too, because it looks all vintagey looking, old looking. So I'm going to use a different color for the red so I don't get anything on it. So I'm going to just cover that up and get the red on. Takes a little time to do it, but I do like the results. Okay, so I'm going to turn this sideways. So I'm going to do it on each side, which is what I did on this one. So same thing. So I'll line it up. Perfect. Now I'll re-ink it again and do the same thing. Using these smaller inking ink pads is much easier than trying to use a big full one. So I'm glad I have these. All right. This on the other side. Get up here in camera so you can see a little better. Same thing. Perfect. Got to clean my stamps when I'm all done with all this. I have some stamp cleaner that works out pretty well. And then I have a couple of the same stamps that I used before. And then I'm changing one out a little different. So here I used a number 710. This one I'm going to use a number 1411. Probably can't see it, but yeah, I'm going to use this one. So I'll make it just a little bit different. But I am going to be using this post office stamp that I used before. I got this at on a set from Amazon. And that puts this. So I'm going to use the blue again. Put that at the top. I like this stamp because it's not like pristine. It's got some gaps in it, so it makes it look older too. And I'm going to just put this in the center as best I can. Okay. Perfect. Like it. So that's what we have so far. And then I'm just going to use a few of these other little stamps that I have. And I'm going to be using the fallen leaves this time, Versifying. So let's put Agent 1929 on here. Awesome. And filed. Do the same thing. So The missing persons report has been filed. There. And then this number 1411. So she's got a different number. And put that there. Awesome. All right. So I got my stamping done. Let's get that put away. These in here out of the way. And next, let's add Llewellyn's new picture on here. So let me use my art glitter glue for that. And these are glossy, so they just take just a little bit longer to adhere. I'm just going to hold it down just for a few seconds to make sure that it sticks on. And I want to put it to where it's even, straight. And I'm just going to press on here for a few seconds, not few minutes, just to make sure it holds. Art glitter glue is great because it does grabs it quickly and it dries quickly. So there she is. Try to get the glare off of her a little bit. Let's just add a little bit more grunge here and there. Okay. So we've got that. So now I'll work on the letters. Now I did die cut these out of the Tim Holtz Craft sandable paper as well. So I'm just going to give it just a little bit of a sanding, being careful because they're very thin and fragile. So, but I just kind of want to just give them just a little vintagey look. So I'm just going to be very careful as I do that. Fortunately, it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to sand this paper, which is nice. Okay. Just grunging them up a bit. Want them to look older. Don't want them to look pristine and new because this is supposed to be a vintage missing persons poster. I was trying to figure out what to do. I didn't want to do, like I said earlier, just envelopes or some stamps. I just didn't want to do that. I wanted to come up with something different. Had no idea what I was going to be doing, but I had something in my head. And so I played around with it yesterday, and then that's when I came up with this. And I do like it. So I'm going to just give this a little of the ground espresso as well, carefully. Just give them a little grunge. Let me get a little bit more ink on here. So they're not a brighter color. More vintagey color is what I'm looking for. Perfect. It's looking good. Trying to think of what I'm doing next week. So I've had in my mind, I want to do something like a criminal case file, some sort, and I do have some digitals that I had purchased, and I've been pulling together some ideas. And do I want to make a actual case file and maybe have that go all next week for the 3 days creating it? And have in my mind, sometime back I had made a journal out of a Pendaflex folder, and those are the hanging file folders that you can put into a file cabinet. I'll just show you one. So I have this, and it's an older style. It's definitely brownish kind of looking, and I made a journal out of this. So I'm kind of thinking maybe it'll be shorter, but kind of out of this, and maybe do like a prisoner criminal case file of some sort. So I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm thinking that's what my next week projects will be. So I'm going to go ahead and get back to this. Just going to lay these out the way I want them. Okay. And I don't mind that it covers up the stuff because I'm thinking of, you know, somebody stamping it in red saying missing. And so that's why I'm doing it like this. So that looks pretty good. Tweezers and art glitter glue. Neat thing I love about art glitter glue, and also Barely Art has it too, is that that tip. Doggone it. Okay. That very tiny tip, especially for the cases like this. All right, let's see if I can do better on this one and not drop it. Hopefully. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Good thing about it also is that it dries clear, but I don't always like to have a little shiny spot on there, so trying to be more careful getting these lined up. And I want it to, you know, be straight like it was stamped on. I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I want to put missing on here. I want to put it on red. I have no stamp that says that. What am I going to do? And then it dawned on me. I was talking with my sister, Pam, from Nana's Crafting Cottage, and I was like, oh, I know what I can do. I can use die cuts. She goes, oh yeah, the Tim Holtz. And I was like, okay, I got it. I don't know if you do the same thing as me, but I'm just like racking my brain sometimes, and it's sitting right in front of me. It's like, oh yeah, I do have that set. That would be perfect. Okay, we almost got it. Time consuming and tedious, but definitely worth it. I've been trying to keep the videos down on time so it doesn't waste a whole lot of your time watching them. So doing some of the stuff off camera helps. At least you get the idea. All right, so we've got missing on there. Love it. Love it. We are almost done. I'm going to go around the edges one more time because I want to make sure I get that craft paper in the back. And even though it may not be completely lined up, that's okay. We can just add some ground espresso, cover it up. I'm going to also go over the stitching a little bit so it's not like pristine as well. So we'll grunge that up a little bit. And I'm also going to do the back, especially around the stitching. Just want to give it a grungy look. Not that, you know, this could be glued down in a journal, or this could be used as a journaling card. You could cover the back of it with coffee dye paper or glue it down on something. So there's options. So this is what I did. Just grunged it up on the back of this one. I'm going to just do the same thing. Because if I decide to use it as a journal card in a project, then I will cover it. And I'm going to leave a few of these threads hanging too, because I like that. All right, we are down to adding these guys. And the way I did that is I glued them on before I punched it. So again, I'm going to just use my art glitter glue. Put a little bit down here on the front. Get that glued on first, and I'm going to come down like about like that. Do the other one the same way. I tried to punch them, not gluing it down there. Yeah, it just did not work for me. Trying to line them up. They may not be exactly the same spot, but close enough. I just want to make sure they're straight. So just keep pressing that for a couple seconds. And then I'll turn it over and we are going to glue this down. Then we'll put the eyelet through. It just seemed to work much better doing it that way. And I want to be like a little tab, like something that's going to get hung up on a poster. Try to make them even. And just hold this for a few seconds. Same thing. Just want to make sure it grabs. Oh, not quite. It's leather, so it takes just a little bit longer for it to dry or to grab. Just want to make sure it's going to grab it before I punch it. Okay, put the glue top on and get my crocodile. And I'm going to be using a couple of these eyelets. So kind of a bronzish. And I'm just going to use the large setting, get the large setting, and I'm going to try and center this. And right about like so. There's one. I'm trying to get it off without it tearing it apart. I'm just going to go ahead and put the eyelet in before I do the next one, so I don't have any problem of it coming apart. So that's what I'm looking for. So now on this side, do the same thing and try to get it in the same, kind of the same spot. And get this cinched down. So we've got that. And I'm going to go over it again with a little bit of Distress ink on the threads. You just kind of, I almost missed that one, so you kind of want to make sure you get both sides. So I have a little bit here, but I think it's stuck on there good enough that it's not going to come off. Okay, we are done. So we have William Morris and Luella Robinson. I kind of covered up her name, but that's okay. So these are our missing posters, post office missing posters. So I hope you guys like this. Hope you give it a try and have some fun with it. I like changing the photos out, so I use some of Tim Holtz, a lot of Tim Holtz today, using the stamps and the dies, the craft paper, and the photo booths. So without giving it too much glare, try and give you a closer look. Okay, so this is the video for today. I hope you enjoy it. Give it a try, and again, I always link my Instagram and Facebook, and I'd love to see what you make and create. So you guys all have a great day. God bless you all, and we'll see you at the next video. We'll see what I come up with for next week. Probably will be still crafty fun sessions, but I think it'll be just on one particular project, and it may go for 3 days or it may go for a little bit longer. So we'll see what I come up with. Until the next video, you guys all have a great day. Bye.